What's up, Canada? This is Etienne from Signatures, and I'm just checking in on you. Do you know what day it is today? It is Monday, April 27th. I'm fresh off a wonderful, relaxing weekend, and I want to know what you guys were up to this weekend. So hit me up in the comments and let me know one fun thing that you did this weekend. I want to hear from you guys. I wanted to quickly let our fans know in Fort McMurray that we're thinking about them today. I saw some photos this morning from the flooding that's happening there. It's like you guys can't catch a break. It's really too bad, but I do know that you are a very resilient town and that you've been through hardships before, and I'm confident that you guys will come out of this stronger than ever. We have plans to have a show in Fort McMurray in the fall, and we are looking forward to being back there. So, thoughts go out to you guys today. We want to bring you some positivity on this Monday, and there's no better person for that than our guest today. She is one of the nicest, sweetest, most caring, and positive people that I know. And I'm talking about Kerry, aka the Pretty Little Candle Lady. So she'll be joining us in just a moment. Before we bring her in, I wanted to say thanks to Dave and Andy from Black Diamond who joined us on Friday. It was really nice to see sort of a family affair, what with Axel and Ellis joining us at various times throughout the program. And it was really great to hear about their efforts in supporting the community with their hand sanitizer program. And once again, a friendly reminder that all previous episodes of Just Checking In are available on YouTube, and you can access those by tapping the link in our bio. Enough from me. Let's bring in today's guest. We have a request to join, so we're just going to bring her in. This is Kerry from Pretty Little Industries. Hello, Kerry.
Hello, Etienne.
How are you?
I'm not bad. How about you?
All things considered, pretty great.
Yeah?
I'm just making sure people know that we're checking in on you. I'm going to pin the comment here. Can you see the comments as well?
Yeah, I can.
Awesome, awesome. Um, so I wanted to start, Carrie, just by sharing a little anecdote.
Uh-oh.
That's nothing incriminating, but I'm just thinking back to my early days at Signatures. The first show I did out west was September 2015. That was Touch of
Yep.
Talent in Sherwood Park. And I just remember leading up to it, I saw so much support from this like pretty little candle lady person on Instagram. And I was just so excited to, meet her face to face. And then when I did meet you in Sherwood Park, you were just so lovely and like one of the first people to actually welcome me into the Maker family. So just wanted to give you a big thanks for that.
Well, you're more than welcome.
So, how are you with everything going on right now? How are you and the family doing?
We're actually really good because we're used to being like on our own, like three of us.
Hmm.
And being that we're living in the country, other than, the nervousness of leaving the acreage,
Hmm.
is life is pretty normal for us. Life has slowed down, like as far as business wise,
Yeah,
but that's given us the opportunity to do a lot of things that have been sitting on the back burner too. So we
yeah,
do those things and then we go out to the shop and play around and come back in and paint a room or two. So yeah.
cool. Yeah, it's nice to have that sort of uh, I want to say downtime to just to pay attention to things that were sort of on the back burner. So it's good to know that you've been keeping yourself busy. So we've talked a little bit about your acreage before, but maybe for the people that don't know you as well, like what's it like out there, and whereabouts are you situated?
Oh, it's so pretty. We live out west of Edmonton between the two Highway 16 and Highway 16A, so the Yellowhead. You probably drive out past us when you go out to Entwistle. Uh,
Yes.
we're on a lake called Hubble's Lake, so we're up on the far northwest corner of the lake, overlooking the entire lake.
Wow.
We aren't on the lake; those are just the people I share the lake with down there. And it's very hilly, it's very tranquil. We're very, very fortunate to live where we are. It's always a debate which day of the month the ice is going to come off the lake, and it's literally coming off today with the wind and the warmth. So
Yay!
it's like, okay, it's a good spring if it's off before the May long weekend, and
Oh, way
it's
ahead of schedule.
it is. And after being here for 23 years, it's kind of, our barometer of how the spring is going.
So it's like your Groundhog Day.
Basically, yeah. And we're
Do you
lucky.
guys have a Do you
Go
guys
ahead.
have a boat?
No, we don't. When the boys, because I have three sons that are older that have left home, they had a boat and they'd go out fishing and stuff. We have floaties because it's always nice to go out on your floaty with a beverage in hand
Oh yes.
when it's warm and just meander around the lake. And
Oh,
Sarah, the youngest, has friends that live down on the lake. Their grandparents live on the lake. So they go down there and they go paddle boarding, and they have a water trampoline. So she gets to enjoy that.
that's amazing.
Yeah,
I can
it's
feel
really awesome.
those days coming. They're so close. They're so
They
close.
are. It's like you can taste them, and then the wind comes up, and yeah.
Oh, so lovely. Um, I heard you have a newish member of your dog family.
We do. Her name is Bella. I told Sarah to bring her. Hang on. Sarah, bring me
Yes.
Bella. She's so cute.
Dogs go over very well on this show.
Well, Luna, we had two older dogs, and Luna, Luna
Of
was
course.
driving them nuts. So, because she's young, so we decided that we needed to get a baby, and
Mm,
we found a baby, and she's a Pomeranian, Australian miniature Australian dog, cattle dog cross. So she's absolutely gorgeous.
yeah.
Where's she? Bella? No, not you. Sarah, bring me Bella. Sarah is doing her online schooling, so she's putting me on a Knorr.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, we know all about that in this house too.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Hmm. Fun fact: I was looking at my Snapchat memories from. Oh, here we go.
Here she goes.
Oh my
Look at
goodness! Look at that pretty girl.
look at. Say
Oh,
hi.
hello.
Oh, you're so pretty. Oh yes, you're lovely. And
Yeah,
she cuddles. She's so
so
on,
nice.
aren't you?
That is
Aren't
amazing.
you? Yes. She's more Sarah's than she is ours. So,
There.
which
She
is
looks
great.
like she's got a lot of energy.
She's not bad, but then there's mine.
Oh, hey, Luna. So as I was saying, Kerry, I got a Snapchat memory from yesterday. That was, I think, 2 years old now. It was our first time in Regina Spring, and that was the day I met Luna. I don't know if you remember that day. I have
Yes.
video of it, and I was enjoying that very fondly.
We have
Um,
pictures of Kenzie behind the booth, like literally laying on the floor, the two of you with Luna, and she's like
yeah,
this big. Yeah, it was pretty special.
typical Kenzie, never working.
Oh, you're gonna get for that one.
I know, I know. What do you have anyone that you miss dearly from not doing these shows? Anyone you want to say hi to?
Um, Everybody. Like
Yeah.
it's hard because like today should have been the day I was driving home from Regina to get ready for Butterdome.
Yep.
And you know how I feel about Butterdome.
We love the
It,
Butterdome.
yes, and it has a near and dear place in my heart. And to know that we're not doing that, it feels like there's a part of my spring is
Hmm.
never going to be quite the same because of that.
Hmm.
There's other things, but that's just the big chunk of who we are,
Yeah.
and it's not going to be there. And
Yeah. It's
because we
it's
still get positive notes and stuff through, like, whether it be Instagram or emails or comments through Facebook, but it's still not the same as being
definitely.
there, talking, sharing what people did over the winter, how their Christmas was, all that jazz. It's just not there.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Kerry, but I'm pretty sure you've done every single Butterdome show, right?
Except for two.
Okay.
All the spring ones, yes. All the spring ones for sure. And I've only missed two Christmases.
So like 98%. That's a pretty good
Yeah,
batting average.
not bad.
Yeah. Um, what was it like when you first found out that the shows were not going forward for the spring?
I was kind of a little bit in denial. Like
Yeah.
when first of all, it was sure or St. Albert and Red Deer. It was like, okay, things will get back to the new normal
Yeah.
by the time. And then it was Regina, and I was like, no, just not Butterdome, just
Uh,
not Butterdome. And then when it was Butterdome, it was like, oh, this is heartbreaking because it's a staple for people.
Big bummer. It was a really
Yeah.
tough decision for us. And
Yeah. And then I'm thinking about everybody else. Like,
yeah.
okay, there's the financial hit, right?
Hmm.
But we're fortunate because we do have wholesale customers and an online store and that kind of jazz. But then I'm thinking the smaller people, our smaller exhibitors who this is it. Like they don't have that other stuff to fall back on. They
Yeah.
don't have a quote unquote normal job. They're just, this is it.
Yeah.
And oh, I know this is not a happy time.
No, it's not. But we do think about them every day, and you know,
Yeah.
we're fingers crossed for a very successful fall show season.
I know.
Um, so I know I ask like every guest what what they miss most about not having shows, and it's usually the same response, and which is fine. They
Yeah.
miss the customers and the human interaction. But I want to ask you: is there something? What's the thing you miss the least about not doing shows?
Oh, the driving. I used to love to drive, Etienne. I'd get in that truck and I would just like turn the music on and go. And after more than 20 years, it and I still love my truck. I mean, I went to wash it just to get rid of stress and wax it. But the driving, it's no, don't
Kenzie's
miss.
saying he doesn't miss butter don't move in.
Um, I think because we're local, we
Yeah,
we approach it differently. It's like I look at the people around me when I'm at Butterdome going, you've been here for 4 days, people. What's another 45 minutes? Like, you need to
good
breathe.
perspective.
Yeah, you just need to breathe. But we all get into that mindset at Teardown for Butterdome.
Oh
And
yeah.
I think it's Teardown for any show. And we're all like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, we got to get out of here. And yeah, and teeth are clenched and tempers are short. And yeah, no, don't miss that. No.
Yeah, come to think of it, neither do I. So, so talking about the 20 years in
Yes.
doing shows, can can you give a bit of background on your business and how long you've been you know in the game,
In the
for
game.
lack of a better term, and how long you've been doing shows?
Well, I started probably before farmers markets became a real like trendy thing to go do back when grandmas were just going to get their extra money.
Beds? Okay, yeah, yeah.
Because my grandmother did farmers markets and my grandmother was a quilter. So it almost seemed like a natural progression in the family to keep it
Cool,
going.
cool.
And then I started as a floral designer because that was the big thing in the 80s was, no, I'm really dating myself, in the 90s. My son was born in 85, my oldest. So I did that. And then Butterdome came along and the original owner of Butterdome, Brenda, had come to me during a summer market in the city and said, we'd like you to come and do the Butterdome. And I was like, well, I can. But at that point, I was pregnant with my youngest son, who's now turning 29 or 28, however old he is. And and it was like, no, but if you give me a year. So I came in the second year of Butterdome and was blown away by how we had gone from farmers markets to businesses and
Mm,
not just um, stay at home people. Like these were people who were making their living at it, whereas I was just doing it as a stay at home mom. And it progressed. And then I started to realize, well, I got to step up my game. And then I started wholesaling. And then the market fell out for dried flowers. And it was heartbreaking
mhm.
because there was that creative part that I missed. So then I had a friend who had a candle business and she wanted to quit. She was done. And I'm like, well, would you be offended if I took over because what you're doing is going to be sadly missed?
Yeah,
And she's like, no, buy my stuff. So I bought her stuff.
nice.
And then fast forward into it, about a year later, I ended up at an auction for, of all things, a candle maker who went bankrupt and was having a government ordered auction for non-payment of GST.
Oh,
And that's where I met my candle mentor.
Cool.
Yeah. And I think everybody should have a mentor personally
Absolutely.
in their field, because you can go into the zone and you can talk. And I'm sure pottery people do it. And I know fiber art people do it. And so it's like, okay. And we went into the zone and we could talk wax and color and all
Mm,
this thing where everybody else would just fade into the background. And I love him dearly. And I'm still fortunate that he's around.
nice.
And he said to me, he goes, you needed to go into soy, Kerry. Soy is the big thing to go into.
Oh,
And he was from BC. So I'm kind of like, well, you're a little ahead of where we are in Alberta.
right.
And he's like, no, you need to. And I'm like, okay. So then we tried. I tried going in, and he is also happens to be the distributor, the major distributor for wax in Western Canada. So he's like, just try it. Okay. Like, ugh. And I did. And we started off, of all things, with our Monkey Hearts candle. And it literally bloomed from there. It was like, yeah. And the more we did it, because this was 19 years ago, the more we did it, the more we educated people. And the more people who became educated, the easier it was to sell. And the
Hmm.
more people who used it, it just dominoed. And then it just kept going. So the flowers literally went to the wayside. Paraffin went to the wayside.
Right.
And we just kept building on it. And then when I met Jerry 10 years ago, he's like, yeah, okay, fine. It's supporting you as a single woman with, at that time, I had 2 kids at home.
Yeah.
But he's like, it could be so much more,
Mm,
like so much more. And he likes the marketing and the interaction with people and the sales part of it, whereas I like the creative part of it.
right.
So he's like, we could do this and this. And then life got really good with him, and we got married, and he came on board and he took over more of the sales, and it
Yeah.
literally bloomed and exploded. And then I would get bored because, you can only create so many fragrances and you can only pour so many monkey farts before it becomes a little bit repetitive.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I got to do something else. So he's like, just do what you want to do. So then we brought in the soap, and that's great fun because I was
Mhm.
up to 108 fragrances, Etienne, at one time. Yeah.
I didn't know that
And
many smells existed.
and my oldest son has an MBA, and he's like, Mom, that's just not financially responsible as a business owner.
Right.
I'm like, okay, fine. So we throttled it back and got it narrowed into a more controllable amount. And then we added
Mhm.
the soap, and then people were like, well, we love your soap. Can you do bombs? Okay. Then we added the bombs.
Bath bombs for those watching.
Yes, bath bombs. And then and then and it just started growing. And I'm very fortunate because I'm married to my best friend, who's also my business partner,
That's awesome.
who is very resentful of you right now because I'm supposed to be out in the shop helping him bath bomb, and
Aha.
I'm not. And it
Take
just
that,
grew.
Jerry.
Yeah. And yeah. And it continues. I mean, you've been an inspiration for a candle, believe it or not.
What?
Yeah,
Me personally?
you personally.
Oh no.
Uh, we were deciding to do an obscene candle line.
Of
And
course.
right, because and this is before everything happened. And just because we all dropped the F-bomb, we can't
Guilty.
deny.
Guilty.
Yes. So, and I mean, you and I have shared some stories, and then I'm scrolling through as all of this pandemic news is coming through.
Mhm.
And you're at the top of my Instagram page with a just wash your fucking hands. And
I remember that day.
yeah. And so we had already jumped from 4 F-bombs to 9. And this was like literally 3 weeks. Like when you had done it, it stuck in my head, but it didn't stay, but it
Yeah.
mulled around. And then I said to Jerry, I said, everybody wants to be inspired and everybody wants to be supportive of first responders and people on the first lines, which is amazing and wonderful. And yes, we are there with them. But everybody's also very frustrated and pissed off and feel like you're living in an Alanis Morissette album. Like you go from one extreme to the other. So I
Yeah.
said to him, what do you think if we did this? And he's like, so what are you going to do with it? I said, well, we'll call it Wash Your Fucking Hands. And we'll say it smells like isolation. And we'll fragrance it with something pretty like lilac, right? For the spring.
Cool.
So we did. So there you go. This is for you, Etienne. So when I see
Oh,
it,
that's beautiful. Cannot wait to smell that.
and and it was like, yeah, and we put it out there, and it's been our #1 seller on our website now, in our online store, for like the last 2.5 weeks. So
That's
thank
amazing.
you.
Well, you're welcome, and it's funny because when I distinctly remember making those Instagram stories just for on my personal Instagram, and it was sort of a way for me to do something creative because I felt like I hadn't been creative in a little
Yeah.
while, and I was like, okay, let's take this message that I want to, sort of deliver tongue in cheek, but I definitely want people to know how I feel, and then let's deliver it in the template that Health Canada would make it look like, or like the Alberta health system. So I didn't actually think that it would catch on and turn into a candle, but I like that my creativity spawned someone else's creativity.
Yes.
That's pretty cool. How do you stay creative during these times? Is it tougher or is it the same?
It's pretty much the same. There's always been too much in my head. Like there's so much in my head that we joke if I was allowed to put it all in a booth, like Francine would kill me because I'd want like 4 booths
Right.
full of stuff. So um, now it's been harder to maybe always want to go out and do it because it's like, oh, I got lots of time.
Yeah.
Like this isn't so, instead of going out to the shop and being creative like I should be, we went and binge watched an entire season of Sons of Anarchy. Like I've now seen the entire series and it's quite delightful. So um, it can be hard, but then I get this message from you and it's like, oh, you know what, now it's like a little prod, right? Like you're not being forgotten, you're
Hmm.
being remembered for being out there. So maybe it's time to pay it forward, other than the candle you inspired, but more so into more things, because there's always stuff going on.
For
I have
sure.
a busy brain.
Yeah, I can relate. Where did the name Pretty Little Candle Lady come from?
My customers, we were originally Country Meadows, which I thought was very appropriate and uh, at that time very era friendly.
Hmm.
And then Jerry was in my booth, my husband, at the Butterdome, and 2 of my regulars came in, and I got moved to the middle of the show. So my customers came in, they're like, "There's our pretty little candle lady,"
Oh,
and it's like, "Oh, that's so sweet and so humbling all at the same time." And Jerry's
yeah.
like, "You should use that," and I'm like, "I don't know if I can necessarily," and he's like, just do it. So we did, but then
Nice.
we expanded outside of the candles. So then it was like, well, what do we do? So my daughter-in-law, Nicole, who you have met, who now lives out in Ontario,
Yeah.
said, you know what? You're a whole industry now. So why don't you just be Pretty Little Industries? And then as you evolve and change and bring on different things, it still falls under that umbrella. And then it just stays pretty. And I'm like, oh, we could do that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is. It is very much a family thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's cool that Jerry was involved in pushing you to make things bigger, and then Nicole sort of
Yeah.
helped you evolve the business, and it's all part of the allure of supporting small
Yeah.
businesses because it's you're supporting families at the end of the day, right?
Yeah. And we're huge on that. Like out
Mhm.
here, it's like it's all about local. The more we can buy local, the more we can support local, whether it be comments or actual purchases or whatever we can do, we will do.
Fantastic. Um, so Carrie, you're like one of the nicest and most positive people I know. You're like every time I walk by your booth, I'm always greeted by a smile, and it's always,
Till you walk by and say something.
I'm loving. Well, um, so how do you stay positive, especially during these times?
uh, Probably because I think life can always get worse.
Yeah.
Because in 2008, when I was diagnosed with MS and I didn't know where my life was going to go, it was either you can roll over and just take whatever it's going to give to you, or you can go forward and be thankful for what you have. And I'm not going to lie, there's days, yeah, absolutely, when I'm pissed off and it should be better, or it should be this or that, or, you encounter somebody at a show that you just would rather choke, but you still go through and you still smile and as you roll your eyes too. And you try to be the best you can be, especially when you're out there selling part of yourself. And I guess that's where it comes from.
Very
And I
cool.
have 4 kids that are pretty awesome, and I have a great husband. And yeah,
Hashtag blessed.
Yeah, it's a good life, ATN. Like there's so many people that I feel my heart breaks for right now.
Yeah.
And we try to stay positive with all these, we're in this together, blah 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 blah. But at some point in time, yeah, we have to turn it off
Mhm.
because that too can become annoying.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It sort of plays into the love-hate relationship some of us have with social media too.
Yes.
It's important to put down the phone once in a while, people.
Yeah.
I say this on an
Twitter.
Instagram platform, but you get the gist.
Oh yeah. Turn off the Twitter. Don't go reading, the political. No, just don't.
Fair enough. Let's get to some questions that were sent in to us, Kerry. The
Okay.
first one here is asking, would you consider making perfume solids? I think some of your scents would be incredible.
Aw. Pass that on to Francine to approve me. And and I've been asked about the perfume solids and the air and like body sprays.
Okay.
So that's kind of in the wheelhouse, so to speak.
Yeah.
The next one that we're working on, because we have been okay to bring it to the shows, is a body butter. Because
Oh,
when we look at everything we've done, it's like the one kind of missing component for self-care. So I've had a friend test, and it's just not quite. It just doesn't have quite the consistency that I want it to.
it's
So
not
that's
buttery
been
enough.
like, pardon me.
It's not buttery enough.
Yeah, it gets a little lumpy, and that's not good.
Yeah. You want sort of more supermarket butter than churned butter, right?
Yeah, yeah, and you don't want it to feel like you got to grind it into your skin. You want it to,
For sure. And for the people that maybe aren't familiar, what is a perfume solid? I'm asking for myself.
it's it's like, okay, so you think of this is a bad analogy, but the best is solid deodorant,
Mm,
like a tube of deodorant. So then you can go and instead of using it that way, you're using it on your wrist as a solid, because then you can take it through airport security. You can take it a lot of places that you couldn't take it otherwise.
makes so
And
much more
it'll
sense.
absorb into your skin better, because a lot of perfumes, not getting too technical, but a lot of perfumes contain an awful lot of an alcohol base in them. So they're
Okay.
going to dry your skin out, right? So if you
Yeah.
use it with some nice butters and some other good stuff, it will work lovely on your skin.
Good to know. Very cool. I like that these live chats have been somewhat informative for me. Here's another question. We want to know, what is Luna's favorite candle scent? The dog emoji.
Well, we do make a bacon candle, and bacon strips tend to be her favorite snack. So if we had to guess,
Love it. Love it. Okay, let's take a look at one more here. Um, this one's asking, do you ever combine odd colors and scents together? Remember purple ketchup? I feel like there's a story there.
um, I don't remember that story.
Okay.
But uh, oh, well, I have messed up a couple of times where I've gone to, like, when we do just our regular candle with the cotton wick and they're dyed, and I've grabbed the wrong bottle of dye, and my eggnog, I think, was like this putrid color of orange one time.
Oh no.
And it was like, it still smells good. It really does. But I couldn't, like, you can't throw out several dozen candles. Like, no, they still smell amazing.
Right.
So, yeah, I have done a few oopses.
Fair enough. I mean, I think we could say we all have.
Yeah.
How good does your house smell on the average day? Like you're making candles and bath bombs all day. It's gotta smell like Lush or
It
something.
it oh no, it doesn't smell like Lush. It smells pretty decent. Like when we're testing, because we make everything out in the shop, and everybody thinks that, oh, it's going to be wonderful. You're going to come in and you yourself are going to smell amazing because you've been out there in, like, basically being infused with all this fragrance.
Mhm.
And it's not as romantic as it sounds.
All right.
You come in and you've got citric acid in your hair, and it sticks to your skin, and no, that part's not great. But we do all our testing in the house. So yes, everybody knows that we have dogs, but we also have cats. So it's very important for our house to smell good, because we have 8 cats. And
Did you
no
say
one,
8?
yes. They're all spayed and neutered. Do not judge. And
Okay,
so,
no judgment.
and we live on an acreage. Um, so, so yes, our house smells really good because we do all our testing in the house with our candles, but sometimes it might have a little underlying wet dog smell too, just cause
These things
it's,
happen.
yeah, it's a family. It's a family house. We all just live in it.
One of nature's miracles. Uh, we were talking about your husband Jerry earlier,
Yes.
and miss seeing him at the shows too. Because it's always great seeing both of you in the booth, but sometimes I'll walk by and chat with him about hockey. So I wanted to know, how's he doing without sports right now?
He's miserable.
Yeah, I can
He,
relate.
like when he was listening to one of your previous check-ins
Interviews,
here,
yeah.
he was like, yeah, he goes, I miss the people too, because he would always go and take care of you guys at Crud, and
Oh yeah.
yeah, and that interaction, he's more of a people person than I am. So he's been on, this sounds silly, but he's been on like Facebook Marketplace looking for new display stands,
Mm-hmm.
and because he's a garage sale aficionado, he's amazing.
Cool.
So he's been, and we've been painting the house and changing things out. So he sells something and then he goes and buys something to replace it with, and
Nice.
yeah, that's his only way out. He's missing the social interaction probably a lot more than I am.
Right. I mean, that's fair. But back to sports, I want to know, and maybe you can answer for him, but did you, in your heart of hearts, believe that the Oilers had a shot this year?
To get through probably the second round of the playoffs, but all the way to the end, as a diehard, I had hoped,
Yeah.
but they didn't have the depth in their D to get them farther than that, and they didn't have, flying on two lines isn't going to get you anywhere. And as much as we all have this romantic looking story of Kyler Yamamoto, it's still, I would hate for him to have gotten that far and then been the one season wonder as opposed to growing and staying.
Yeah. Yeah. Some really good analysis there from Kerry, the pretty little hockey lady.
I listen to him yell at the TV every time we watch hockey. So yeah.
You know what? I kind of miss that too. I have got no one to yell at. I can't yell at the dog here. That would just be cruel.
Yeah.
Um, so, just to wrap things up, oh, I wanted to talk. I saw a post recently that you had donated some excess soap to a volunteer group.
Yes.
Can you talk-
We we have a softness in our heart for seniors. That's
Mm,
just the way we roll in this house. And we had a bunch of, Jerry saw on Facebook a Facebook group that was looking after seniors who were homebound, who were literally having to have everything delivered to them. So no, Kenzie, I didn't find you any butter boxes. Um, so
the weirdest
uh,
question.
Jerry was like, what should we do with this soap? And I'm like, well, you know what? He found this group, and I said, let's not sell it. Let's just give it to them. Like, there's the hand sanitizer works, but essentially any foaming agent will get rid of the virus on your skin.
Interesting.
So it's like, you know what? These seniors probably feel more comfortable with soap even than something out of a pump. Like, you still have to put yourself in their mindset. So it's
Of
like,
course.
yeah, we're gonna donate. So I think we've donated like 130 bars or 160 bars
Oh, wow.
to some of them. So it was awesome to have it going to a good cause.
That's very cool. And I did not know that about the foaming agent.
Yeah,
That makes
like
sense.
the hand sanitizer is awesome because
Yeah.
everybody's doing their part. It's a good thing. And if you need something on the go and you don't have water, hand sanitizer is perfect.
Mhm.
But for people who are at home, or you come home and if you're like us and literally you're almost like stripping at the door because you want to get out of everything you've worn out of your house, so soap and water will do the trick too.
Very cool. Okay, so how can the people continue to support Pretty Little Industries during these times?
Our online store,
Mhm.
prettylittleindustries.com. We do have a Mother's Day sale going on with a save 15%. So it's mom 15 for the coupon code.
Yes.
Done a few packages together, like with bubble bath and a candle and balms and soap. If nobody wants to think about what to get their mom, they just like, okay, here, fine, take this.
Yeah.
But if you do want to, call her, send her something a little, less politically correct, and you want to
Mm.
go into the obscene candles, then you can. If your mom's, like just effing amazing, you can even send her one of those. So
Sometimes you just got to let her know she's effing amazing.
exactly, like it's all has to be fun, like it should,
Sure.
because at the end of the day, ATN, we're making candles and bath bombs and soap. We're not
Right.
solving world peace. We just want
That's right.
people to feel good.
I love it. I love it. And with that, we do have a recurring segment to close out our show called What's Your Signature? So we want to know, in life, in art, and in your heart of hearts, Kerry, what is your signature?
All things pretty.
All
It should
things free.
be pretty. Always positive.
Of course, of course. And we
Yeah.
appreciate you for always bringing the positivity at the shows. And during this interview, it was so lovely to see your face, Kerry.
Oh,
I
it's
hope,
good to see you.
yeah, thank you. Well, I hope to see you again soon in person
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
the fall shows. Please send my regards to your lovely family.
I will. Say hi
And
to Tina for us.
I will for sure. I think she's watching. So
Good.
thanks again, Kerry, and thanks for everyone for tuning in. And we'll catch you next time on Just Checking In.
Thanks, Etienne.
Take
Bye.
care. Bye bye.